This is the Mountaineer's hut, a popular base in the Timberwolf Mountain region. It has one major problem though, which is this unsightly hole in the roof. In this video I'm going to show you a method to repair this hole. So first let's take a look at the finished product. So this is what the outside of the roof will look like when we're done. And note that this is done without mods. We do need the Tales from the Far Territory expansion for this, although there may be a method to do it without that expansion. So check out the comments for more information on that. And you can see we have nice coverage on the inside here as well. Here's the gear you'll need before you start. First, to get onto the roof, you need a Travois, and if you have a cooking skillet, that helps a lot. I would highly recommend using this, although it's technically optional. And then for the repair itself, you'll want 2 moose hides. This will do a pretty good job, although if you want a nice tight seal, then you'll want 3 moose hides. I'm going to just show the version with 2, because that's all I have on this save. Now, you can technically do this with bear hides or even some of the smaller hides, but I really recommend using the moose. If you're going to go to all the trouble to do this, then you want something really high quality. And the moose are the largest hide, which makes it easier, and they also have really nice color matching, especially with the uncured version, so I do recommend using uncured moose hides. Okay, so now that we have our gear, we need to properly position our Travois. So from the front of the hut, head up to the left. And we're going to go pretty much as high up this slope as we can. And what you're looking for is this little point on the snow right here. That's going to be the point at which you jump off. And then you want the Travois to be below that. So the Travois will be down here. So what I'm going to do is stand facing this way. And let's go deploy our Travois. Let's go take a look at it. So it's way too far back right now. I need this part of it to be going in a line from this point out to that corner of the roof. So what I'm going to do is load a cattail in here so I can move it. And let's grab the Travois, and we're just going to move it forward a little bit. And drop it and take another look. That's pretty close, but it needs to be a little bit more forward. And there's a significant amount of trial and error here. You can see that's way too far forward now. So let's try turning a little bit to the right, I think we want to, and then back up a little bit, if it'll let me. And if you get stuck, you can always start over. I'm going to move it forward just a little bit, like a tiny amount, and hopefully this will be close. And you can test to see how good your positioning is. This actually looks really good. You can test by doing a running jump off this lip across the back of the Travois and onto the corner of the roof. And if you almost make it like that, then that's a pretty good setup. I'm going to show it one more time, and then we'll move on to the next step. So once again, running off the corner, along the back, and straight towards the corner of the roof. Let's get a running start. Whoops, I have to start from a little closer. And you can see we almost made it. So let's go to the next part now. So here's an example of a perfectly placed Travois. If you have it in the right spot, you can actually make this jump without the skillet. So I'll attempt that now. You can see we just made it up onto the corner. That's pretty tricky to do though, and it does not always work. So I'm going to show you the skillet method now. This is much easier once you set it up. So the way this works is, cooking skillets are kind of unique in that you can force them to have collision, meaning you can walk on them, unlike most other objects. So all we need to do is just place this with the handle pointing towards the corner of the roof. We'll just place it approximately there. Doesn't have to be exact. And then, so this has no collision now, but if we reload this scene, then it will have collision afterwards. I'm actually going to move it slightly further away, so we get a little bit more of a distance that we can walk out on it. Okay, so right now I simply phase right through this. So if we were to leave the region and then come back in, then it would have collision. Fortunately, there's a much easier way. So all we have to do is save the game by any means. The easiest way is just to pass time for an hour. We'll do that. You can see down here, we have now saved the game. So now what I'm going to do is quit and reload that save. So we just hit survival, resume. That gets us back into the same game that we just saved. And now our skillet should be able to hear. I'm not sure why I can't hear my footsteps on it. Usually you can hear the metal footstep sounds. There we go. Yeah, now I can hear it. Clank, clank. Okay, let's get this jump lined up. So now it should be easy to make this jump. And there you go. Now that we're on the roof, all we have to do is place the hides. So first I'm going to show you the method for 3 hides. So this is the hole that we have to cover. And unfortunately these boards here, this one, and that one, stick up above the level of the rest of the boards. So if you want to have a nice smooth surface, you have to drop 1 hide on this side. That's pretty good coverage. And then you have to do another one on this side. And this one is hard to place because it needs to land on the board and not the snow. So I think about here is where you want to land. And what you can do, because it drops it in a random radius around you, is you can just drop it over and over again. I got pretty lucky here and got it on my second try. And so there you see we got a nice full coverage of the top part. And then you would come place your 3rd hide. You'd stand in between these 2 boards. And your 3rd hide, you'd probably go up about here and drop your 3rd hide there. And what I can do is go ahead and show you what that looks like with 3 hides. So this one is actually kind of tricky because when we drop these, it may end up falling through the floor. Yeah, so sometimes you drop it and it randomly falls in a radius down there. Okay, that was actually a pretty good drop. So I think what I'll do is let's go down and retrieve that hide. And we'll run around the side. You may end up having to do this a few times. One option is to actually pass time on the roof to create a save, and then that way if you drop your hide through, you can just reload your save. Now this one is very unlikely to work, but basically you want to stand right here and you want to drop it so that it lands just on this board. And this isn't as good as the 3 hide version because this board sticks up a little bit, so you have a slight overhang where this hide is above the other one. And unfortunately it fell through. So 1 second. I think what I'll do, because this could take a while to set up, is I'll just show you something that I had set up previously. So this is, you can see, this is with it dropped right on that board that I'm pointing at with the corner. It just lands right there. And you get a very slight overhang. So you can see this hide is under the boards and that hide is just over them. But this is plenty good enough. You can't really see any gaps. You can see a little bit of a gap here. And if you go underneath, you can make out some very slight gaps. If you're all the way in the corner here, you can see a little bit. So if you do the 3 hide method, you can seal up those gaps fully. But if you think this is strong enough, you can just do the 2 hides. All right, well, that's going to do it for this little tutorial. Thanks for coming along with me. Let me know if you repair your Mountaineer's hut as a long-term base. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.